Hi, everyone. Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio. Hope everyone's having a nice Wednesday afternoon. It's Wednesday, and that means it's Crime Stoppers Day. Last week we had Jared Neri with the Lincoln Police Department, but this week, again, just like I said to Jared last week, Captain Baker, I feel like it's been forever since you've been in the studio. So again, this is UNLPD's Captain John Baker. So thanks so much for jumping in and joining us today.
Once again, thanks for having us. Appreciate coming on.
Awesome. And again, it's been a few weeks. Everything been good. Campus kind of quiet.
Campus
The way we like it.
Yeah, campus had a great Thanksgiving. It was fun hosting the volleyball tournaments. The first rounds of the volleyball was great.
Oh, yeah.
Those went well. People really showed for those. That was awesome. They really came out in force for those games, so it was nice to see.
Yeah.
Set some records.
Oh, yeah. More records. It's been happening all year long, so you do just love to see that. We got two things to talk about today. Mm-hmm. One of them, a win.
Yes.
And one of them, another person that we're looking for who did something not so great.
Yeah.
We want to start with the win, or do we want to start with who we're looking for?
Let's start with the good stuff.
We're going to start with the good stuff. Okay. All right. We're going to start with the good stuff. And this person, this gentleman that we see here on this picture, was out riding his bike one day.
Very early in the morning.
Early in the morning.
Yeah, around 6:15 in the morning. He was out up and early.
And he comes across some packages.
Yes.
And he decides, as we can see in this last picture here, he will take said packages for himself.
Yeah. Fortunately for us, unfortunately for this gentleman, they had pretty good cameras at their residence. This was at a sorority, so.
Oh, a sorority.
It was, yeah. He didn't get away with anything very valuable. That's what I don't understand about the porch thefts, right? Like, it's a gamble for the thief. It's a huge gamble. You don't know what you're going to get.
Well, I mean, nowadays, like, I feel like every house has some sort of ring camera or doorbell camera or something.
Right. And it's not always going to be something nice in those packages. Definitely nothing real expensive in those, but he did earn himself a citation. We got a tip from the public. It was like I talked about last time. The more information, the better. We had a first name, last name, kind of where he hung out, and so we were looking for him, and he actually got turned in on some warrants. So we went out to the jail and talked to him there and sealed the case. Yeah, closed that one out.
Well, there we go. And again, this is another one of those examples of, this was just, a porch theft, but it can lead to something bigger. You got a couple warrants out on him, and so.
Yeah, right. Obviously, he had some warrants, so this isn't his first time doing things such as this or similar. So.
And so, do you know, because that case was on the Crime Stoppers website.
Yeah, that was.
So the person that provided that tip, do you know if some money has been given out to that person?
They got some cash thrown their way. They did.
So there you go. That's what we need people to do. Again, as always, I'll throw it up here on the screen. But again, you can go to the Crime Stoppers website. It's good just for to peruse, just to kind of see what's going on. We try and report everything in the news, but we don't get it all. But again, this is how you can leave a tip with the Crime Stoppers. Again, that P3 app, probably one of the better ones. Get that downloaded because then you can have that conversation. Right.
There is that two-way conversation that you can have with the receiving company or the P3 app. There can be a back and forth. If they need more information or something like that, you can provide more that way.
Just a clarifying detail or something like that. So, okay, so that's our win. We're celebrating that. Again, always good to clear cases off of Crime Stoppers. But we have another case that's not even up yet on the Crime Stoppers page.
So fresh.
But we're already going to be talking about it. So what are we looking at with this case and with these gentlemen on these ATVs?
Yeah, so there's one of two, and there's both of them. The very first snow that we had in
November 25th.
November 25th. Very first snow, as you remember, it wasn't much snow. So honestly, not really worth taking these ATVs out, right? I mean, it wasn't like they're trekking through deep snow.
No, absolutely not.
So they decided to break out their ATVs here, and this is on our east campus. They're just south of 40th and Huntington. They took these out, and they took them over some grassy areas, some fields, some plots.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give them some credit. Maybe they didn't know the type of grass or what was being done there, but that was actually a very high value of research being done, where they have a plot where they don't provide any treatments, and then they have several other plots of grass where they maybe apply this chemical or they apply a different fertilizer or different variables that they throw into these fields. Well, as you know, I mean, it's not like this is one of those experiments where you can just do in a day and you're done and you have your results, right? These take an entire growing season. Right.
Long time.
So the tire tracks that were left in these fields with the cookies and burnouts that they were doing on the field really tore up that grass in there, and we're talking probably thousands of dollars worth of damage done to when you consider the grass and the treatments that were applied, the time and the money spent on that, plus the human factor, the human hours that went into this, and that has to be reimbursed, and so all of this research it's funded by somebody, right?
Someone's lost that money,
right? So it could be commercial, it could be through a grant, it could be federal government money that comes in, but that money's lost. If this grass doesn't come back, and it probably won't in a lot of those areas, then all that research, all that time, all that money is just lost.
Not just to mention the physical sweat equity that gets put into maintaining those plots of grass. And again, I'm sure a lot of people have probably driven them by them. This is the Google Map images here. Again, if I zoom out just a touch, you can kind of see East Campus, Huntington Avenue, there on the north side, and it's these grass fields, kind of on the north end, basically the 38th and Huntington Avenue, is where we're looking, and that's where these ATVs again did these cookies and vandalized this plot of land.
Again, they may not have known the value of the research that was being done there, but and there was signage, no unauthorized vehicles, and generally it's just bad practice to go anywhere where you don't have permission on vehicles like that. So.
Yeah, and then especially to do the cookies on top of that. I mean, if you're just driving the four-wheeler along the road, because are those street legal? Because you take those?
They're not.
Oh, okay. Well, then you shouldn't even be taking them out on the street then.
Right.
So bad decisions all the way around. So if you recognize, again, this bright yellow ATV, and then there's, again, the other one that's more of a darker green color, again, the gentlemen on them, assuming they're gentlemen, they're covered up pretty well. But if you know anything, leave a tip. Yeah. What would they be looking, what could be the potential punishment for this crime?
We're probably not looking at we wouldn't pursue any jail time or anything like that. We'd probably be looking more of like determining the actual cost, maybe some restitution. We'd probably pursue that. But it may come out to a felony, but unlikely to result in jail time. Anything's possible. It has to go through the courts and all that. Everyone has to have their day before anything like that is decided. But like I said, it's up in the thousands of dollars. So.
Yeah, that's no good. So okay, all right. And then there was one last thing we wanted to talk about today, and that is the fact that it is finals week.
It is finals
on
week.
campus.
It is.
Which, I mean, college, campus, already a lot of emotions running high, stressful time, but finals week, even more so. But there is available help if folks are maybe feeling even more stressed out than normal.
There is. 911 is obviously very popular because of the easy to remember, and it's, you can program it into your phones. It's easy to dial if you don't. But for mental health issues, especially when you're in a crisis or you're with someone who's experiencing a mental health crisis, it's not always clear who you should call, right? Because it's not really a physical medical emergency. If no one's in immediate danger, then it's not really a police matter. We get called a lot just because we are 24/7, and especially on campus. But Lincoln Police, LSO has the same thing where we're always working, and so somebody is available to help in a crisis. To be completely honest, though, we're not always that best type of assistance in that moment.
Yeah.
Depending on the person, depending on previous experiences, haven't had good interactions with police. We're not therapists. We're not psychiatrists. We do our best at the moment.
You try.
We try hard, but at the moment, they really need to have, in a crisis,
a professional.
They need to have professional assistance.
Yeah.
And so that's where 988 comes in, is, again, easy to remember, can program it into your phone, doesn't matter where you're at. It was launched nationwide in 2022.
Yeah, not that long ago.
Yeah, and Nebraska now has it. As of earlier this year, it was, formalized at the state level within Nebraska. And they can kind of triage the situation and help determine, okay, who is best situated to come to this. If someone is in immediate harm, or the risk of immediate harm, then they'll probably notify the local law enforcement, and we'll come and help de-escalate that and get it safe. But again, it ends in professional assistance.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not at that stage, if it's really someone who just doesn't know where to turn, they can help that person get to where they need to go.
Just a super good resource. Because, again, I'm assuming a lot of the calls that come into 911 probably could go there first.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the calls that you guys have to go out to could probably be handled by someone who's maybe not you guys, which again then frees you guys up to go to the calls that you do need to go to.
Correct. Frees up our dispatch centers, frees up our time. It's not like we're unwilling to help. I definitely don't want to give that impression, right? Like, we will go out on any call we receive. We will go out and we will do our best. But the end goal, right, is to give that person the best help that they need.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's not always us. We're willing to admit that it's not always the police department.
No. And so, again, if you or if someone you know, friend, family member, again, finals week, and this isn't just UNL.
No,
this
coming up.
Yeah, this goes for everyone across the board. This
There's
isn't specific to UNL. 988. If you probably would have asked me before we did this what that number was, I probably wouldn't have remembered.
Yeah.
We're
getting the word out there. It's making its way.
Good deal. All right, Captain Baker, again, thanks so much for jumping in and joining us today. Anything else you want to say before we let you go?
No,
probably not going to see you again until 2024.
Right? No, just happy holidays to you, your
Thank
family,
you.
and
Appreciate
to everyone else
that.
out there. Campus will be a little bit quieter, a little bit slower. Chance for us to do some in-service training, some the stuff that we need to take care of that we can't during the busier times. So.
Is campus kind of just like shut down then for the next couple of weeks? I mean, because I know there's some kids that probably won't go home that'll stay over the holidays, right?
Right. So there's about a week where, like, the administrative functions of UNL, they do shut down. But of course, we're still there. The landscaping crews are still there. Food service is still there.
Okay.
But yeah, especially with the suite style housing that's come up in recent years. More and more students are staying on campus, but not. You're right, not near as many.
All right, good deal. It's been a minute since. It was 10 years ago for me, more than 10 years ago for me. So
we won't say exactly how many.
No, we won't say exactly how many, but we'll just say it's more than 10. All right, Captain Baker, thanks so much for hopping in and joining us today. Again, as always, appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching another edition of Crime Stoppers. Next week, again, we'll have Jared Benary with LPD back on the show with a couple of crimes that we want to talk about. So appreciate everyone tuning in and watching. Again, as always, keep it tuned to 1011, both on air and online, for all of your latest news, weather, and sports. Hope everyone has a nice Wednesday.